going? Guys, if you don't know me, my name is Monakhad. I coach mindset and manifestation, and I really do, the bulk of my work is energy work with a group of like-minded women in a group that's called Circle Infinity on Facebook. Here, in terms of my videos, in terms of my weekly lives, and we are starting something really exciting next year, which is a workbook. It's very, very thorough. Quite a few people purchased it, and I'm looking forward to starting it. And you know, I gotta tell you, I do all my work based on how inspired I am to put something new out. So if you knew me from the beginning, I had a product that was called the 60-day challenge, and that is the only product I had for about 2.5 years, because I really didn't feel the need to put anything else out. And of course, like, it didn't sell like crazy, or whatever sold like basically in the first year, but I didn't feel prompted to do anything else. But I think this year, because the energy was, we did it as a group, we did the 6-day challenge as a group 2 times, I felt like the work got deeper, and I felt that the questions that were coming in and the comments that were coming in, it was almost like, you know, everyone kind of hit a ceiling in terms of they gotten what they wanted. A lot of people got married, got engaged, moved jobs, moved homes, advanced their relationships. Of course, some relationships fell apart, as they should, in the course of this work. But I felt like there was a ceiling, and I was like, okay, what's next? What's next? And I'm like, okay, we have to put something where identity is primary. The more, obviously, in this last 2.5 years, I've also grown and I've understood a lot more than I did before. And I came to conclude that anything that is not manifested out of identity will not last. Like, it will just, you don't get a result. You basically get whatever result your sustained identity can carry. So your identity is sort of a container for any result that you get. By now, a lot of people have been into the manifestation communities. They've gotten great results. I want to hear from people. I want to hear from people in terms of, were you able to keep a result more than 2-3 years? Whether it was a boy you manifested, whether it was a job, a certain change, a certain amount of money. Were you able to make more and consistently the same? And actually, I got a comment yesterday, and somebody said, I manifested everything was on my list, and then I got into serious debt because I couldn't afford all of those things that I manifested. So it's probably like a house or a car or etc. She said I couldn't afford, I couldn't keep them. So I actually had to sell them, and I was left with debt. So that's not the point of doing this work. Right? It's not the point to have something temporarily and then lose it. So I don't believe, this is why I don't believe in a lot of techniques that people love to jump into when they get into this work. They love to jump into robotic affirmations and writing things down on a piece of paper, burning it, doing certain rituals. Unless we change who we are inside, nothing will be sustainable. You will, or you may, not necessarily will, get some result, but I want to hear from people who maybe got a result that they weren't able to maintain it. Tell me, why do you think you weren't able to maintain a certain result that you manifested? This would be like, I'm posting this on YouTube. All my lives are posted on YouTube. If you're listening to this on YouTube, leave me a comment if this has happened to you and you don't know what happened. If you thought $10,000, you got $10,000, and then you were never able to do it again, or you manifested a man, but you know, he's changed after a while, etc. But I think what happens is the moment you relax from that intensity that you project out there, you default back to your old identity. So unless you do the work, not on manifesting something, but on self and on maintaining yourself at a level that the person that has those things, I think everything kind of will unravel. That's where we're at. So this work, it's mostly identity. I would say like 80% of this work is identity. Please don't skip ahead. My group and I are starting this on January 1st. That's the consensus. I don't know, in my group we have like about 50 people who are going to start this together on January 1st. But you don't have to start on January 1st. You can start on any first of a month, or you can align it with the lunar cycle. It's 12 months, 28 days per month, and each month kind of builds upon the concepts of the previous month. So please don't skip ahead. You will also need a journal with this, because every day has a teaching, an exercise, and a journal prompt. Most of my queens have gotten their journal. I like to get a very high quality journal. Why? Because I like to have something beautiful to return to. This is what I got. I bought it for myself for Christmas. And I think this is from Peter Popper Press. But you can get anyone. I have no affiliation with them. But look how nice it is. Okay, with the gold, makes me feel like it's a nice, rich, blessed place to start. So Valerie, I think you asked me how we integrate the 60-day and the goal setting in this work that we're going to do next year together. And I think there's two things. So for example, all the goals, everybody who's worked with me on the 60-day challenge, or if you're new, you probably have your goals. I want us to start by writing them, leave one page empty here at the front. Okay. And then dedicate these 2 pages of goals, and you can have another page adjusted goals. Okay. Now I want you to put it here, and just like in the 60-day challenge, I want you to forget about it, right? In the 60-day challenge, I don't want anybody to reread their goals. That's not the point. You may by rereading it halfway through just to see they're still your goals or adjust them. But just put them here and forget about it. And then you start. Day 1, I think the day 1 prompt, I'm gonna read it, because this is like longer. You might need more than one journal for this work. We'll see. The day 1 prompt is, every month starts the same way with the same prompt. And the prompt is, the first day of every month is dedicating to defining the woman you choose to be and refining her identity from the month before. Take a minimum of 1, maximum of 3 pages to describe her clearly. Who is she? How does she think, speak, move, decide, expect, and receive? What does she do each day? Where does she live and with who? How is her body? Who is she surrounded by? And what is her general environment? So that should give you a page and a half, 2 pages of writing about her. What you'll find is that in month 2, when you write about her, that will be different. But I don't want you to go back to month 1 to see what did I write in month 1. I want you to write in month 2 from where you are in month 2, and then go back to month 1 and be like, hey, some of these things are different. Then you get to month 5. Now you're reading month 1, and I guarantee you will not have the same goals, the same you'd be like, oh, she lives in this place, but by month 5 or 6 you'll want something else. I guarantee you this. If you stick with me, you guys know I will be here every single Monday, because I've been here every single Monday for 2.5 years. I want you to take this challenge, to take the challenge of really, like, I think I want the same thing. If you do this work properly, your identity will chisel. It will chisel into the person that you were supposed to be to begin with. So that's where we're at. In terms of affirming for others, which I always believe, when we do our new moon meditation, every single new moon meditation in 2026 will have this, will end or will begin with 10 to 20 affirmations that we do together as a group. When you do it, similar with the affirmations that we did in the 60-day challenge, when you do it, we're going to project it in the group, in the circle, because you're already envisioning our circle in our sacred and secret space. And we'll project the affirmations for others with all the intention and with the thankfulness for the work that we did that month. This work is going to get more and more energetic in terms of others and everything. But I think the way I want us to contribute is, you know, the thread that we did when we did the group 60-day challenge in the group, in the Facebook group. I really like that. I found that a lot of the people, what they went through, spoke to others. And sometimes there's an energetic thread you have to pick up from another. You know, this growth is complementary to one another when we do this. So I want to start with a few things that I wrote down here, and then in terms of last minute questions, whatever you want to talk about, but I also want to take questions from whoever's on this live. And if you have any last minute questions, either about the work that we're going to be doing or either about something that happened this year that you'd like to change next year, please ask it. So here's a first question that came in. I think I have 3 or 4. I take up questions that are valuable for everybody. Hi Mona, I'm not sure I'll be able to make the live tomorrow. I'll watch later. Do you have any thoughts on rituals or specific actions to take to block off the energy system when entering workspaces? Sometimes work is okay for me, but sometimes there's a lot of negativity from coworkers. And also I'm a bartender, so I have to interact with whoever walks in the doors no matter what. Some nights are pleasant, but after others, I feel like I need a spiritual shower, not just the physical one we talked about. So I'm going to take this up because this can happen not just if you're a bartender, but in any type of work environment. See, I don't like this idea of how can I block other people's energy, because there's an implication there that they have some sort of control over your own system, right? So it also implies sort of like you're under attack. So the moods of others and their complaint story and whatever else they discuss, you know, because you're a bartender, you have to treat that as just information. Whatever they speak, whenever they speak, it's not the blocking that you have to do, is a detachment that has to happen in your mind that this is me and this is you. And right now, you're presenting me with some information. I'm not going to be the container for that information. I am just the observer of it. Let's say I'm a professional bartender. I'm just going to, obviously you have to interact with people during work. You can say, wow, you know, is that right? Is that a fact? Yeah, unbelievable. You can give this type of comments without identifying with their stories, because the majority of draining that comes from work interactions and from people interactions who are strangers, it comes from unconscious identification. Okay, you're unconsciously identifying with their stories, and this is very, very draining. Or like Naima said, the silent agreement. The silent agreement, right? You're participating in the story. You're participating versus observing it. This is where the drain comes from. Valerie says, well, I need to hear this today, struggling with my accountant's judgment. Yeah, exactly. This is you and this is me. Now I can listen to you without containing your story inside of me. In fact, I can listen to you really well and I can give you feedback as if I'm reading this information. This is why, not to toot my own horn, but I'm great at coaching. I'm reading the other person's information without being involved in their story. And this gives me a totally different perspective over their story. Okay, so she's asking me for some practical applications. So before work, if you want a little ritual, okay, before work, you want to say to yourself before entering the building, as you put your first step in, I'm here as a professional. I am not here to contain anyone. This is me and this is them. So you got to say something out loud that defines or somehow projects out there that you are there in a certain role and in no other role. During work, like we discussed, wow, is that so? Is that a fact? Is that this is how you respond to people's stories? And understand, it's a story that has nothing to do with you. It doesn't, you don't, if you're feeling the story in the pit of your stomach, you're far gone into identifying with the story. You shouldn't be feeling anything in your body. That's your measurement when somebody tells a story. Okay, you can be fascinated by a story, but you shouldn't be feeling it anywhere within your body. When you sit down with someone and you feel their story inside your body, you've intertwined with them. It doesn't mean they're attacking you. It doesn't mean they're sending you negative energy. You are the one who has permitted, granted subconsciously, because we're just not trained to detach from information, and you're assimilating that information in your body. So that's what happens. And after work, I want everyone after work, it doesn't matter if you work in an office, doesn't matter where you work, before you leave the building, go to the bathroom, wash your hands and say, whatever's not mine stays here, as you're seeing the water drain from your hands into the sink, okay? The dirty water that's cleaned your hands. And then get in your car, fresh, clean hands, not taking any energy from your work, from not carrying anything with you. Whatever doesn't belong to me stays here. Tomorrow I pick it back up because that's my job. When you're in your place of work, many times you have to work with the energy of the place of work, but you don't have to take it with you. And you don't have to contain it within yourself. Now, I'm not saying this is easy to do. Please. Okay? Many people are like, yeah, that's all I have to do. I have to just leave it at work. Everybody knows you have to leave it at work. This has to do with practice. It has to do with daily practice. If you skip it, it's not going to imprint in your brain. You guys know what NLP is? Somebody says this is good for anyone who works with people. If you work with people, after you have a conversation, shake someone's hand, you have to wash your hands. Or you have to have some of those wet wipes, something. Okay? That's even for the basic hygiene of it. Don't take the hand that you shook and the imprint of it. And now you're touching your food, your fork, you're drinking your coffee. Don't do that. What I asked, do you guys know what NLP is? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and this is all science, okay? But it's intertwined, like sort of with what we're talking about. And it has to do with programming your brain to crave a certain outcome and to do a certain thing, just rewiring the neurons in the brain. We have about 3 billion or 300 billion, I don't know, this is trillion, 3 trillion neurons. So imagine in how many ways they could synapse together. So one of the ways you can do this is you do the same thing every day where you want your brain to go. So if you want your brain to understand it's not taking anything from work with you at home, you wash your hands every single time you leave your workplace and you say that. Can you give an example of how we use NLP? I just did, but I'm going to give you another one, okay? Another one that was presented actually by, it was at the conference with Tony Robbins and a neuro-linguistic programmer, which I can't remember his name. But it's imagining a current situation in a picture-like format. So let's say you're sitting at home on the couch by yourself watching a movie. You have to envision your exact couch in detail, everything, you sitting there watching a movie. And let's say you're a woman who wants to be married, okay? So now what you do with this image, you envision a second image that's you sitting on the same couch or on a different couch with a man and doing whatever you would be doing. He's holding you, you're snuggling, you're watching the same movie. It has to be similar images, okay? So what happens is as you're holding both these images, you diminish this image, you shrink it, you make it smaller. Like imagine it's in a, not landscape, but front format. And then this one goes smaller and the color is drained out of it. And this one becomes bigger and bigger and more colorful. So that's one technique that's very well known from NLP programming. So the brain understands that the focus is on this and not on what is. Heavy on the lip filler. I don't have any lip filler. Yeah. I just want to see if there's any comments on that. It's a really great technique. You go on YouTube after and you listen to my description again. All right, now I want to take up another one from a queen in my group who is saying, when you feel, okay, she's like, also, there's another question I had for a while. The concept of when you feel negative emotion about a decision or a person that your higher self doesn't see it that way, or we should change our vibration and emotions to match our higher self. I am not sure I understand that concept. To be clear, this is not a concept I heard from you. It came to me in one of my meditations and it's from Abraham Hicks' teachings. So let me read that again because I'm lost here. when you feel negative emotion about a decision or a person that your higher self doesn't see it that way, we should change apparently our vibration and emotions to match our higher self. And she's saying, this is not a concept, I heard it from you, it's a teaching from Abraham Hicks. So Queen, I don't actually work with higher and lower self as competing authorities. I don't think you hear me too much on higher and lower self, like in terms of authorities. And many times, like Abraham Hicks, if you guys don't know, is channeled material, right? So it's this woman, her name is Esther Hicks, and she channels an entity, like an outer intelligence, that's called Abraham. So channeled material many times contains symbolic language that means different things to different people. So that's why I can't really comment on what they meant, okay? But in my work, negative emotion is not something you gotta fix, overcome. It's not that, this is not what I teach. Negative emotion, what you have to do with it is, if you feel negative emotions, like you're saying, about a situation or about a person or about, you have to understand where it is coming from. So if it's coming, let's say it's a person that's creating this negative emotion inside of you, what you have to understand is, how does this person have so much control over your system? Like, how can a person rattle you to the point that you have this negative emotions? 1. 2, is it something in them that is doing a certain thing on purpose or not on purpose that's creating a trigger? 3, is this person someone you have to have in your life? 4, if it's a situation, is the situation similar to a situation that you had in your childhood and this is why it's triggering you? What part of you feels unsafe with a certain... So the sheet that I gave you guys, the exercise that I gave you guys as a gift for Christmas in our group, will do exactly this, or it will cover this kind of thing. Is it really something about the other person, or is it something about the story you have narrating about the situation or the person? So what I do with negative emotions when I have them, I really go to the bottom of, why am I feeling this way? Before I even do anything, before I go for a walk in nature to self-regulate, or I take a break, or I walk away, or I take a shower, or whatever it is I do, like my own techniques, depending on the negative emotions. We will all have negative emotions, and nobody will not be able to not have any negative emotion between now and the rest of our lives. I want you to understand what is triggering you in that situation. This is much more important than forcefully aligning yourself with your higher self, which I don't even understand how that would be applicable in this. Like, how is your higher self telling you this person is good for you if your 3D person, I guess, has a bad feeling about them? So maybe, maybe this is a very specific situation you're talking about, but all pain needs to be understood. Okay, and again, I never talk in my content about any trauma for children, essay, anything like that. I'm not inexperienced of it. I'm not trained and talk about it. So that's something completely different. Don't talk to me about that, because I can't go there. But any pain you've experienced, that guy rejected you, that guy broke your heart, you were talking to a guy online, all of a sudden he's gone, now you feel rejected, you feel in pain. You shouldn't be feeling this way. This has to do with the story that you're telling yourself. It has to do with the story. It doesn't have to do with higher self, lower self, aligning, etc. So again, channeled material and everything, it depends what you're listening to. What I would advise you is, don't listen to anything that confuses you. Always ask yourself, how is this adding benefit to your life? Because I'm telling you, you're listening to my content and it will benefit your life. Even this kind of questioning and this kind of reasoning with your brain. What am I feeling? Is it justified? Okay, let's say it's justified. Person cheated on you. Somebody you trusted cheated on you. A friend cheated you of money. A husband cheated you. Knock on wood. The pain is justified. This doesn't need to come from any trigger. They did something wrong. Okay, How long am I going to stay in this pain? How am I going to deal with this pain? How all of these things have to do with how, like, you being in control of your own energy system. You're not going to not be impacted by 3D, but how long it stays in your system and how your system processes it, that is up to you. That is up to your skill of handling your own system. You understand? Of understanding, I have authority and I am the supreme chooser of what happens next inside of me, not outside of me. Is it possible to heal a hernia with this? Just had a baby and now I have hernia and need options. Of course it is possible. But there's groups that have to do with healing and work. Dr. Joe Dispenza does a great work on this. So Dr. Joe Dispenza's audience is mostly formed of people who have physical ailments or serious diseases. And he has great success stories by doing energy work. What can I do if I feel major cognitive dissonance when manifesting? It just doesn't feel like it's the true me. Yeah, so I was actually going to talk about that, okay? Because words are spells, okay? But the behavior is the deeper instruction. So this is why sometimes when you manifest or you affirm and you see your life a certain way and you say, I'm rich or I'm worthy, but your behavior doesn't match that, that will give you cognitive dissonance. It's not in line. So if I say I am worthy, let's take the love example, okay? Or maybe you can tell me what you're talking about. Take the love example. I am worthy. But then I'm seeing a guy and maybe I slept with him and I don't hear from him for a week. And then he says, sorry, I was busy with work. Do you want to Netflix and chill this weekend? And I said, yeah, let's do it because I really want to see him. Then all my affirmations that I've done about being worthy have gone, like, it's creating a huge cognitive dissonance because my behavior doesn't match that. You understand? So the hard part about manifestation is if you're saying you're rich, you can't act poor. If you're saying you're worthy, you can't act like you yourself don't have any worth for yourself. There's no point in saying it. It's actually going to create dissonance in your brain. You're right. How can I affirm for commitment? I'd like to change my self-concept on it. What's your current self-concept on commitment? Is it you committing or the other person committing? So look, step down your affirmations. Okay, let's say you're in a really difficult situation. You're in government assistance and you'd like to have a nice life. You're not going to start affirming I'm a millionaire. You have to step it down. I'm doing meaningful work, which I love, that generates an income that's high enough to cover all of my expenses in a life where I own X and Y and Z. But make it something that's believable to you. It's achievable to you. You're just in a difficult situation now. Or you've had 10 bad dates. You don't need to go ahead and affirm, I have a man who adores me or what have you right away. What you want to affirm is that I am worthy of being selected in this type of behavior. So I am worthy of being taken out and being treated this way and having the door open for me and X and Y and Z. Because what I find is a lot of women don't even know what behaviors they're looking for. They're going out there in the dating market, and instead of looking at it as a chooser, what they're doing is they're seeing, what can I get? And whatever I can get, that's what I have to deal with it. If I get a guy who's not a communicator, who disappears, who's not consistent, that's what I have to deal with. So now I have to send him long paragraphs. I have to do all of this thing. This is antithetical to both worth and to you being the chooser or the selector of any reality. It doesn't work like this. You're the one who has to be in charge of what happens in your life. You're the controller. You're the gatekeeper of your life. You understand? So, and you don't have to go one way or the other. Oh, life without men is so much better. I'm here with my cats. Listen, I have cats. I also have great men. Like, you don't have to exclude one from the other if you don't want to. Pay attention to what you watch on the internet also. There was 2 content creators, which I love. They're so smart. They're so great. I had to block them this year because I don't know why they were popping on my feed so much. And it was all negative about relationships, like negative out. This is what he did next. And this is like the summary they were doing was great, very logical, very like interesting. It's just that I don't want to think about that. Whatever I allow in my mind will have an effect, some effect in my life. And I don't want that. Be very, very careful what you watch. Okay, actually, speaking about dating, I pulled something up from one of these posts, like dating groups on Facebook. I told you guys I'm part of several groups because I'm, looking at how people think. I'm part of Dr. Joe Dispenza's groups. Anyways, this one is a woman who says this. And if there's any women dating in my group, and I know there are, most people right now are online dating. You guys know my opinion on that. So she's saying, I would really like to hear from some people who date with an age gap, etc. In my mind, I'm in my mid-20s and my interest is 10 years older than me. I find communication can be difficult because he's quite busy and there's definitely a connection. The consistency can be lacking, which is important to me. We have not met yet, but we talk a lot when the consistency is there. There are plans to meet somewhat soon. Would you wait till you meet to make more of a decision if you actually really like him? Or would you tell him you need more consistency now to proceed? I should also mention we haven't had any conversation about exclusivity. I want to believe that women are not this confused about dating and about what they should want or expect from men. Sorry, I don't know what happened here, but my jazz has just interrupted. Because some of these posts read to me like rage bait. Like, I am enraged that women put themselves in those situations. Okay, you want consistency from a stranger online who could be a scammer from a different country? You have no idea who you're talking to when you're talking online. You're coming to ask for dating advice about an age gap when in fact you haven't met this. We haven't talked about exclusivity. What exclusivity? You're nuts. Somebody talked to me about exclusivity before I met them in person, they would get blocked. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. Guys, online is not dating. Online is a process you have to do right in order to meet people you would otherwise not meet in the context of your life. Maybe you don't go out often, you work in an environment where you can't meet other people, etc. You don't have too many friends, you don't go out. It's not dating. You're not having conversations with strangers. Oh, we're 10 years apart. You're talking to a guy 2 days, 3 days maximum. No plans to meet. It's a next. You don't have to block them. You could just leave the conversation. You just say, next step for me is meeting in person, and we'll see. This conversation is great. Next step for me is meeting in person and seeing what's going on. Oh, I'm not ready for that. Guy says, I'm not ready for that. Then it's a block. You're there to meet people, or you're there to chat. I don't know. But you should know there's a lot of guys online who just want the validation of somebody talking to them. They have nothing to offer a woman. And guys, our most valuable asset as women is our time, as you know. Lady Ash says, I had manifested a job very quickly once. It was a wrong fit. How can I manifest another one? Now I can't manifest another one. Okay. That needs detail as to who you are, under what process you have manifested, and if it was aligned with your purpose, with your soul purpose, with many things, right? Because you can manifest something that's completely unaligned with you. You can manifest a job, especially jobs. Because if you're manifesting based on, I want to get rid of my current boss, that manifestation is just, I want to get rid of my current boss. It depends what the intention is. Very few people actually manifest something because they know that would be a match for them, right? Many people manifest things to get out of a certain situation. This is why manifestation is not a guarantee for happiness, right? You want to get out of a situation, here's the new situation. I am telling you, the solution is always to do the hard work. Nobody wants to hear this. Everybody wants a magical mantra. Or, like it happened to me once, somebody says, I don't have time for any of this. I pay you, you do it for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing. Oh, that's so funny. All right, let me look at another question, unless you guys have something else. I want to end this live at the end, last 5 minutes. I wrote some points that I want you to remember into the new year, but I think I have one more. Okay, so this is a queen who has had several financial manifestations go to her boyfriend. But her boyfriend is a very nice man, treats her very well, okay? So she's saying, we talked about manifestation of material items and money going to the men in our lives. This isn't really a question, just something I was thinking about in case it's happening to other queens. But does it also go in the opposite way, that things men want for themselves related to home, family, relationships will go to a woman in their life instead? I started thinking about this because money and career manifestations I had for myself went to my boyfriend. Even when we were not dating, even exact sums, even incredibly specific career manifestations. But he's wanted children his whole life, and his ex-wife told him only after they got married that she wasn't able to have kids. He gave up on ever having children. I, however, have a kid, and meanwhile, and what's more, my son is not very like me or very like his dad. He is much more like my boyfriend. They are eerily similar in personality and interests in a way that don't make sense looking at myself or his father. Did my boyfriend's deep desire for a child go to me instead? What's the biggest example? That's the biggest example, but there have been other occurrences where things he's wanted for home or family have gone to me very easily. So this is interesting to contemplate, because I don't really know the answer to this. I know for a fact that women process a man's energy, and not just me. A lot of people already know that, especially during the intimate act, but also just being around a man. Even let's say he's your brother, it could happen, right? Like it could happen, your money manifestation goes to your brother instead. And in terms of the way time flows, like we talked about this and a lot more esoteric topics, time is not really linear, right? It's not really like the way we get fit together. It's so complex. The way things get arranged in this infinitely intelligent is not even the word for it. It's something we can't comprehend, right? That the universe already knew to fit him with someone whose child resembles him because that was his deep desire. So it's not necessarily that his manifestation went to you, is that the way this thing was arranged for you, and it was arranged for you because you met or you connected with him. He was a friend of hers from before, like when they were like teenagers. And then their lives perfectly fit together. You know, her child was like him or is like him. He's financially taking care of her. It's just she's projecting these material things that are going to him but that are of benefit to her. So is it that your manifestations and material manifestations are going to him, or is it that they're coming to you through him? Like, are you asking the right question? Because how does the universe deliver when we are asking? How does it deliver? We don't know the how, that's not what I'm asking, but it delivers in the most energy efficient way. The universe wants to spend, I told you, it's a neutral machine, and it wants to spend the least amount of energy. That's how nature works. That's how it works in 3D also. Nature will grow expanding the least amount of energy. And so does the universe. So if he's there and he has the capacity for financial success, his identity is programmed for that, and you have asked for financial success, to the universe it is easy to deliver via this. And it is easy for the universe to deliver that a child that is like him through him meeting you. Guys, please don't call me. I don't take calls during my lives. Do you see what I mean? So I can't answer this question directly. It would be way too arrogant if I even tried. But what I want you to take from this is that the how is so complex that it is that important you have a clear direction in this life. A clear direction, a clear intention, insisted on, fed with your energy, which means your energy is not being consumed by other things in this world. An intention that is not rattled by the 3D events around you, etc. Because this is how precise the universe will be when delivering it to you. Exact sum of money, exact manifestations, the moments of people travel, including myself, and meeting an exact moment that they weren't planning on. I was not planning to go to Diamond Head. I don't even like to hike when I go on vacations. And I was on Diamond Head, I think, just because I needed to take that picture that I had on my vision board, which I realized later that it had been on my vision board. All I meant to that picture was I want to go to Hawaii, but I happened to take the exact same picture and I was like, whoa, this is how exact and how precise the universe is. Trying to understand how or trying to fit it's not, don't be arrogant enough to think you can do that. Just do the identity work. If you take one advice, do the identity work. Change. Just assume responsibility for everything that is. And just say, okay, if this is a printout of the inner me, what do I need to change in the inner me for this to change? And that's it. And then pay attention. Hold on a second. Every day, pay attention. What's changing? What did I do? So in here, whoever got the workbook, we're going to do a lot of that, guys. We're going to go a lot back and forth in associating what's happening with how we changed inside. Got to do a lot of measuring of self, measuring of inner. That's where my whole next year work is going to be for myself also. All right, I wanna leave you with some thoughts. And if you want, now's your chance to ask any last minute questions. If not, I'll be back. When is the next live? When are we having the next live? Oh man, it will be January 5th, I think. Yeah, January 5th. So I want you to take this into the new year. This clear concepts. Reaction to 3D is an instruction, always. Always. The way you react to circumstances is an instruction. If you don't like something, ignore it. No, that's a little bit of risky advice. But if you don't like something, you're only going to perpetuate it by reacting to it. I'm going to make a little video about this, more like about the system. Nervous system needs to feel safe in order for any manifestation to occur. If you are not comfortable with the attention of many people, like so for example, if you couldn't get on a stage to speak, but you want to get famous online or whatever, those are two things that your nervous system is not going to be okay with. If you are somehow afraid of a routine or afraid of, but you're trying to manifest a high corporate job, anything that your system doesn't feel, if you feel like you want to be handsomely compensated for the work that you do, but you feel like doing work or doing any work will just be against your time to yourself, your time with your family will just take something away from you. It's not going to work for your nervous system, right? It's the nervous system has to feel safe in the situations that you're projecting. We had some people, I worked with some women in our group. One of them got married this last summer. She sent us a picture. She did not feel safe. Forget the idea of marriage, with even the idea of a relationship, because she had been so hurt by many 2-3 year relationships that she had. She was almost 40. And they all took something away from her. So for her, obviously, she wanted to get married like most women do. And it just, her nervous system was completely against that. But she got married this summer by understanding how to regulate this and how to react differently to everything that was happening in her dating life. Okay. Words are spells, like we talked about, but like I mentioned before, behavior is the deeper instruction behind words. No point to say words if your behavior is going to be different. You will know this because something will feel off. Either the words when you speak them will feel off, or the behavior will make you feel bad about yourself. If you say, I'm slim, I'm beautiful, you're working energetically, but then you make yourself a whole bag of popcorn and wash it down with a couple of beers, you will see when you do that, you will feel bad about doing that. You might not have felt bad about doing it days before, but because you're affirming this, so the dissonance in your mind will be obvious either in the speech or in the behavior. And you have to think about this hard. What am I going to give up, the speech or the behavior? So I'm not saying you got to be married. I'm not saying you got to be slim. I'm not saying any of these things. You be whatever you want to be, but your speech has to be congruent with your behavior. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and you're giving yourself dissonance, okay? You have to take the time to understand now, make a commitment to yourself now that you will need to change many behaviors that you have to yourself, many habits, many behaviors. You will need to learn to say no to people. I find that with women, this is very hard. Say no to your kids. Say no to your husband. Say no to your mom. Say no to your friends. These things are hard. They're hard to do. But everyone here is guilty of having said yes when they meant no. Can anybody say they're not guilty of this and they never do this? Do less of that, okay? You're not going to be able to erase it completely. Cut it in half. A half. And then cut it to another half. Okay. Any goal that you're chasing, you're giving importance or urgency, is walking away from you. Okay? Valerie says, saying no to the kids is the hardest. Mama, but can you make the sandwich for me? I love you. It's hard. But the kids need to understand that, you know, and Valerie's kids and my kid are not really kids, okay? They're like double-digit kids. So they can make their own sandwich. They can, they can understand you work hard for that money. And they're not always going to get, everything they want. Yeah, that's how they get you the I love you or the hug. The hug. They come, they know how to manipulate us. I mean, we let them manipulate us. It's not that I fall for it. It's just the rest of you queens who don't have kids yet. You're going to find out. I used to be the kind of person before I had kids that I would look around and I would see all these kids being spoiled, or I'm like, oh my God, these parents are pathetic. This is never going to be me. And never, ever, my kid is going to do this. It's going to be dressed in this. It's going to walk like this. It's going to sit down on her desk and do the homework for this much time. It's going to do all this. All of those things I failed in. All of them. All of them. So whoever is thinking this, okay, you got to be humbled. You got to be humbled, my love. But they are worth it. Believe me, they're worth it. Don't be one of those women. Like, if you desire kids, Don't let anyone convince you not to have them. It's a sacrifice for sure, but it's so worth it. Okay. So we're talking about any goal where you place too much importance, urgency, or you're chasing it. You're trying to make yourself worthy of it. It's just going away, right? Because this is you, and this is the importance of the goal. And as you're chasing it, it's also moving away from you. You have to do the opposite, right? Drop the importance of this goal. Drop the importance. That's why we say you or better, this or better, this job or better, this house or better. Drop the importance of that specific thing. Drop the urgency. Drop the urgency. If I want to do X and Y and Z in my life, but I know I will do it in 2 years, and between now and then I will live a great life, I have to be okay with that. I have to be okay with that because I understand there's work I have to do, not just on myself, but in terms of giving back into the system before I will be advanced to a new level. Think of it as a video game if you want, where you earn levels based on your behavior, your ability, your capacity in the game. And by the way, I think in a lot of these games, I haven't played in a long time, but in a lot of these games, if you lose your resources or what have you, you could fall back to the previous level in the game. Or maybe some other player could kick you down if you let them. This is why you get the wrong man, can kick you a few steps down. I'm sure this has happened to a few people. Lisa, where have you been? Don't worry about it. Watch it on YouTube. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for the nice post about the workbook. I know you're excited. We're all excited. Let's see what comes out of it. I think we're going to be really, really surprised. Okay, now, for the women who are dating. Dating is about choosing and doing a process efficiently with the least amount damage to your system. And please understand, you don't need any explanations. You don't need to waste your most valuable asset, which is your time, because confusion in dating is data. A lot of women come to me and tell me they're confused. Confusion is data. I am only interested if I'm dating as to, is this for me or is this not for me? Because I'm the chooser. Now, I understand the majority of things will not be for me. And I don't need to understand why. Okay, remember like a few months or maybe a year ago, I told you guys, you need to have a file in your head. Or you can make a file on your computer that's called the unexplainable. Create an Excel file and put, I had a wonderful time with this guy. He said he's going to call me. He never did. That's in you don't need to understand why. Confusion is data. It means this is not meeting my needs. Because instead of leaving me fulfilled, I'm looking to feel fulfilled in my dating life. Instead of that, I'm feeling confused. This tells me, what does this data tell me? This person is no good. For me. Maybe for somebody else, he's great. For me, he's no good. Okay? Observation. Please, this is one of my key concepts. Observation is a force of creation. Whatever you focus on, you observe, is creating in your life. If you're observing the political situation, if you're observing conflict, if you're observing rejection, if you're observing how hard you have to work for $100, if you're observing constantly any of these things and it's constantly in your mind, you are creating from them for yourself. There's no escape on this. You can't just say, now I'm not creating, now I'm creating. Now I'm manifesting, now I'm not manifesting. That's not what manifestation is. Manifestation, you're doing it all the time. You're doing consciously. You're going to realize, hang on a second. I'm creating these negative things in my life and I don't want them. And by the way, if you're observing these things like this, let's say political conflict or things that are bigger than you, right? Like wars or anything like that. They're not going to manifest in your life as political conflicts and wars. They're going to manifest in your life as situations you're not going to understand are associated with what you've been commenting online or watching or talking to your friends about or etc. You're not going to know it's because of that. You're going to think, in addition to Trump doing this and in addition to this war, also this is not working out in my life. That's how you're going to see it. So it's going to feed more and more negativity and it's going to amplify it. This is the danger. So I challenge you, or one of the challenges we're going to have, I'm going to do it every week. If you're with me, you're with me. But if you're not with me on that, please just do it once a month during our new moon meditation. I'm going to fast for 1 day a week. I'm going to fast for 24 hours. And then also, I'm going to do a social media fast 1 day a week. Pick one or do both. Or do both 1 day a month during the new moon meditation, please. Because what I want you to understand is that the body is a lot easier to control than the mind, than your thoughts. And if you can't control what you eat, and if you can't control a habit like going on social media, then you controlling your thoughts is even less likely than that. It's less likely. This will tell you right away where you're at in terms of your discipline and what can be achieved for you specifically. How does fasting help? So first of all, everybody knows medically fasting helps unless your doctor specifically told you not to fast because, you have, I don't know, diabetes or something that where your blood sugar drops or what have you. But if you're a healthy person, what happens is the body consumes energy. The biggest energy consumption in the body is digestion. See what you can do with that energy when your body's not digesting. But there's one thing that in my work is more important than that, and that is your ability to control yourself. Just try not to eat and see if you can, because why? You instructed your body to do a certain thing. Your body has to listen. You're not your body. Not your body. If you are your body, then you're on the wrong life. Can you Germany or Russia language? No. I'm not German, nor am I Russian. Is it a bad thing to get extra happy when you get a manifestation? Why would it be a bad thing? It's not a good idea to tell too many people. When you tell people about your happiness and manifestations in general, I want you guys to dumb it down a little bit, in terms of the energy. Just downplay it a little bit. Yeah, I got that job and I'm so excited. I'm excited I got that job. But say it in this tone. Say it in this tone. No, obviously, you're going to be excited about it. And then you're going to say, yes, the good things always happen to me. Good things. This is great. This is my new normal, my normal. Now I want to know what you've been manifesting that gives you euphoria. Okay. Another point is that group consciousness does amplify outcome. We have seen this over the past 2.5 years. I'm convinced of this. If you mean to be part of something, that obviously that's aligned, you should join us. Or if you already are with us, you already know this. It's totally different. Okay, even the accountability is different. Even the fact that you get on this group and you see, I had a call with somebody who's never active in the group, okay? But once in a while, this person books a session with me and we talk about this. I said, I never see you, in the comments. You haven't done the 60-day challenge with the group. I never, like, what's going on? This person says to me, you know what? You're right. I haven't been doing it and stuff, but just every time I open my app and I see this, it's keeping me accountable with where my mind is. I'm busy, I'm doing this, but it's just because I said, why are you in the group for all this time if you're not? He goes no, I open it up and then I see you and I'm it reminds me of that version of me that committed to myself. And I want to stay, it's not relevant to me, whatever the fee or just want to say. I said, listen, I want you to start contributing. If you want, put yourself on Facebook under a different name. If you don't want to be under your real name or make a little different account or something, I want you to contribute. Okay, I want everybody who's in this group to contribute. I think I have 30, 40 queens that are always contributing. I don't know what's happening with the other 100 people. I hear from them once in a while, and I guess, they're just sitting on the sideline watching. But I hope you're contributing at least in your mind. Would you like to do a photo shoot for a clothing brand? No, but thank you so much. Oriel says, I water fasted for 40 days, only water. Rarely I would take potassium, magnesium. It was hard. Well, 40 days would be hard. I mean, people do it for one day and it's hard. It's hard. And you know what? It's hard, especially when you have a family and you have to worry about what they have to eat or what they eat. You know, it's pretty hard to cook food or to lay out food or to see food in the kitchen when you're not eating. The environment has such an effect on us. It's incredible. Like, it can change you on the inside. We know this, right? This is why your home is your sanctuary. You don't just let anyone in your home. Your body, even more so, okay? The way you live your life, you need to have a space for yourself in your own home. Don't keep old clothes. Don't keep things from your exes in your closets. Don't have broken jewelry. Just give away as much as possible and only have the things you love, even if it's way less things. I do a bag of clothes, honestly. I hope my husband isn't listening to this because he's off, but I do like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I guess it would be easier to put the phone. You know what I mean? And I don't know why. Just the stuff doesn't vibe with me anymore. It doesn't. I want to have less. And I feel like everything I was in a store, everything right now is just plastic. I don't want anything plastic anymore. Okay. My last point is, if you've decided on a different outcome, never, ever wait for motivation. Valerie, we're the best. Never wait for motivation. Do the practice. I have my journal. I got my accountability in the group. I'm gonna start. I want to really focus on the 31st of December. I've done this for years now. I set my goals for the next year. I don't really look at them afterwards. And then I want to write. I'm really looking forward to writing this one page as the person I see myself being, which is very different than the 1 page or 3 pages I wrote 3 years ago, which all came true, by the way. I believe I was single at some point 3 years ago, October 2020, when I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's seminar. My life was so different. And I had a different business. I had a business partner I don't talk to anymore. It's crazy. Like, so many things in my life are totally different. But what's not going to be different is the commitment that I have to always improving myself and always improving my environment, the people around me. That's never going to be different. That's the only thing that matters, really. My skin looks marvelous. I think the biggest skin contributor to skin looking marvelous is tretinoin. And that's not everybody can tolerate it, but if your skin can tolerate it, you're going to see huge differences in your skin. I want to just stay like a couple of minutes longer, just in case there's any questions. Can we manifest height? Please answer. In my opinion, not really. The physical changes you can manifest is physical changes that 3D permits. Like 3D permits in terms of what people observe can be completely different than what it was. So you can project a different version of you in terms of little things like eye color, not completely different, but to lighten a little, like the nose to take a bit of a different shape, but it can't be completely different than the observation of a lot of people around you. I think that's it, huh? Guys, see you next year. Thank you so much for all the energy you've contributed. It's been a big year for us in Circle Infinity Group on Facebook. I hope if you're not part of the group, you will consider being. And I will do my very best for this workbook, for whatever comes out of it, to be extremely successful. I will participate in as many comments as I can that come out of this, but I really like that comment format we had in the 60-day challenge. You know, the comment format where everybody leaves something and we can learn from each other and offer a perspective. If you see someone's comment and you have something valuable to offer them, please do that. Please be there for others. I'm excited. Don't forget your goals. Think about each other. Wishing you the very best for New Year's Eve, for the first day of the year. Always forward, always ahead. I end all my lives with the EFT tapping 3 times, 6 times, 9 times of I am a winner. And we'll do it now. If you don't want to do it, this is the end of the live. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on January 5th. If you want to do it with me, one breath in. I'm a winner. 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 I am a winner.